Hey everyone, this is Ismail here. Today I would like to show you the procedural shitpile generator I made using Houdini, Houdini engine, and Unity. So this project has two stages. The first, we have the Houdini engine asset here. Let's actually take a look to the Houdini network here that I created. So it's actually very basic. We are first creating a sphere, noising it, smoothing it, then placing it to generate the silhouette of the shit pile, and then we are generating the mesh utilizing a height field terrain. So here we are creating the mask, and then we are creating the kind of the base field for it. I could have easily used a plane for it or basically anything else, but I think the height field gave the flexibility to use it. So yeah. So then we are creating the mask out of the sphere, and then we are cropping the rest, and then we are generating a mesh out of it. And blurring the terrain to get some more details and converting it to an absolute mesh. Because this will be creating a UV channel, we are purging the UV channel and clipping wherever the surface is flat and then applying a noise to it. And then we are decimating it, of course, because this is a game asset, and then we are triangulating it to reduce normal issues. And then we are creating a flat UV for it, and then I quickly utilize the lab's texel density to distribute 512 by 512 texture resolution on every on every single meter of the asset. So that helped a lot. And then I'm baking the ambient occlusion to some specific vertex channels. So we are baking ambient occlusion here, then baking the thickness here, which obviously doesn't have an appearance on the on the mesh vertex colors, but effectively having its significance here. You can see in the geometry spreadsheet. And then I'm creating a gradient for bottom to ground. This one creates the attribute, and then I'm actually assigning the bounding box and then normalizing it and assigning it as a float variable depending on the normalized y value on the world up axis. And I'm removing all of these vertex colors, and I'm combining and assigning red with ambient occlusion, green by thickness, blue by gradient. And then I'm deleting rest of these attributes that I created, and then I'm assigning the material, as you can see here, material sheet pile generator, and then I'm correctively scaling it to be the same with the real life shit pile scale to match it. And then I'm creating a convex collider out of it. Obviously I could have just go and decimate the mesh once more to create a convex collider, but I didn't bother this, as this won't be a part of a project, as this is just a practice project that I'm currently practicing to learn Houdini, and then it outputs it. And let's see how it acts on Unity. So what parameters we have here? We have decimation ratio, you can actually see when I switch to shaded wireframe that the mesh is actually decimating in and out depending on the ratio I give it. So let's say 10, as it's enough right now. Then we have the vertex color options here, like how many times the thickness will be sampled, the radius of the thickness, ambient occlusion sample rate, and blur intensity. This will actually, all of these assets here, like all of these parameters here actually have an effect on the shaders, which will come in a minute. And then we have the asset structure. Can play with the overall scale here. I keep it as 1. And then we have the seed to yield different shit piles. I'm fully utilizing Houdini to create the mesh, and I will come to the texturing in a bit. And we have the pile structure options here, like you can select any of these detail noise types. Of course, not all of them is working good, but they're there for artistic directions. Large detail noise. You can see, like, you can make anything. You can smooth the surfaces out, and yeah. Then we have the pile silhouette with the vertical the distortion option, that you can actually, like, if you want to make it like piled up towards vertically, you can play with this value or just leave it at 0 to yield fully flat surfaces. So this is how my project creates these meshes. So what about the shader and texturing? I created the shader using Amplify Shader Editor. This is my node graph, as you can see. It utilizes vertex colors, multiple UV channels on all of these masks, the overall tiling. I have a custom UI drawer system, so my UI drawers are different, and my UI inspector is kind of different. As you can see, I have a custom inspector here, and these all of are like declaring textures. We have hay distribution, mud distribution, dry or wet, use mud, use hay, vertex ambient occlusion, exponent, final normals, final albedo, final smoothness, and final vertex offset. So this is my shader. Let's take a look at the shit structure and how to build a shit visually. So we have dry or wet switch here, which eventually switches the textures by making them appearing dry shit or wet shit. And if you are using wet shit, for example, currently this is currently this is completely dry and this is completely wet. You can actually play with the smoothness here if you want, but I keep it at 0.7. We have use hay option to disable the hay, and you can actually define the ratio of the hay appearing on the object throughout here. And we have these hay masks and mud masks in a bit, which I will come to it later. Yeah, this is how hay works, and you can actually invert the distribution of the hay to have less hay on the surface. Actually, because the surfaces aren't covered on hay right now, let's actually see how dry and wet shit differs. So yeah, this is the hay. Then we have the mud. The mud actually takes the Y position that's coming from the shader to define the mud. So this could have been easily replaced with some terrain blending ability to actually blend the terrain with the surface here. Use vertex ambient occlusion is actually can be seen like how it like reacts when I on and off it. Use vertex distortion is actually taking the final albedo and is multiplying it and adding it to the vertex distortion to have a bit more like finer detail on the mesh. So yeah, let's not use it. And the textures are here. They are all the same. We have the normal scales, which actually defines the normal intensity of the normals. I keep them at 1. And then we have the tiling. Overall tiling basically adds to all of these tiling values here. Or for example, if you like to make say height to more like tiled, you can easily make it through here. Yeah. So we have the height distribution mask here, as well as the contrast of the texture. For example, if you contrast it, you will get more contrasted and concentrated hay. And actually, if I invert it right now, you will see that you get more hay, and you can see it actually is more like concentrated, not not all everywhere. Kind of, you can see. You can actually use any texture else for this. I just use a simple mask texture for it. So yeah, this is how the hay works. Let's actually disable the hay. And the mud actually acts the same way. So let's give a bit more hay mud to see how it performs. As you can see, the same kind of. So yeah, let's take a look at what vertex ambient occlusion is doing here. Let's enable the vertex, use vertex ambient occlusion tick here, and completely fall back to dry shit, and disable mud, and enable hay the way I like it, and I like it like being like this. Actually enable mud and get something like this. Yes. So this looks like a good shit pile to me. And vertex ambient occlusion exponent just basically gives and multiplies the effect of having some like grease and some dirtiness and some cavity on the surface. So I like it. I like it to have. I think it's more realistic to reflect it this way. And of course, all of these shit structure, all of these like the profile of how the shit will appear won't be changing if you say play with the seed. So let's actually get another shit. Yeah. Yes, as you can see, it absolutely works perfect on all kind of meshes that are generated with these Houdini asset. To let me know if you liked my procedural shitpile generator, and hoping to see you soon. Thanks.